you know, we had a very strict champion lineup. We would see that, you know, some champions were just unswappable. You'd have to have them on your team every time. And I think the only real adjustment to that was every now and then you might see the old Nyx swapped for Doomslayer. But this time, you know, as you can see, right, Scale Bearer on every team, that is a huge adjustment here because Scale Bearer didn't see competitive play for weeks at a time. We used to see him early on in the Quake World Championship when the game was kind of first out and the Quake World Championship
brand new
started. Really. Yeah, exactly. And we saw a lot of him in duel and sacrifice alike for multiple different reasons. But in this patch with Sorlag being nerfed down and him getting more armor, I think it's a good time to start playing him. And clearly, you know, at least for the South American region, it's something that these players are very comfortable with, and they are finding themselves in grand finals with Scale Bearer in the lineup. So it's clearly something that they are happy with, and fingers crossed we can see it do well at Dreamhack, regardless of which of these teams is going to qualify, because we know that, if anything, this means that we're going to see Scale Bearer at Dreamhack, which I think is really exciting.
Definitely. I think sacrifice is a more likely game mode to see that champion get selected. I think there is going to be quite an interesting contrast here when you can see that Team ZR, they've kind of favoured actually not having a Sorlag in favour of taking the Doomslayer. But then on the flip side, there is no Nyx. Instead, TKG have gone in for Scale Bearer. So there's going to be a little bit of a difference there. I feel like the obvious one being area denial on both Power Up and Soul, which is so commonly used now, where before both will spawn, Sorlag will just sort of just paint that area. And also defending the Obelisk. It's a very important tool to have on something like Tempest Shrine, which is particularly close quarters. And those kind of fights are more likely to take place because of the reset mechanic, where there's a lot more open space. Team players are more likely to throw the Soul out of the map, which forces a fight guaranteed to happen in the middle of the map. And having Sorlag on your team with a generous cooldown on the Acid Spit will always be useful for those exchanges. Having Doomslayer means you're not going to have those, but you have a little bit more mobility.
But it has been an interesting sort of exchange in terms of composition, though. So having that Doomslayer there, bringing that Berserk means you get that speed. You can still run the Soul quite effectively if you have that ready. But ETJ has actually been quite prone to getting a lot of actual frags with the Berserk as well. You know, he's been very much using it to its full potential.
He certainly tried a lot yesterday during the duels. He certainly tried a lot yesterday.
In fact, Guitar Ration is going to be falling down first to Tuto's Gauntlet. Now, we've been seeing a lot of Gauntlet play out of all the teams today. A little bit more than we're used to seeing, and especially from like the Scale Bearers as well. But it has been working out for them supremely well so far. Guitar Ration unfortunately can get stuck off, and Sarek's trying to get through, but they're all getting taken out one at a time. Mag gets a fully charged Bull Rush. I must say fully charged charge, but that's not quite accurate. But able for Mag to steal that Soul away and get hold of the Obelisk first is going to be huge, because they went straight for the Obelisk, and they all died on the way until Mag stole it at the very end. And Tuto with a vital rail on Guitar Ration. The danger is they are going to have to sort of waste a little bit of time to try and drop things off, which has allowed them to collect quad, actually. So getting the quad damage and the drop-off is very good for them. And if Guitar Ration got that one rail missed, we would not be in this situation right now. You know, the quad would have been used aggressively. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, but I mean, there's kind of no denying some of these mistakes here and there. But at least it's early days. But
ETJ with a double rail too, very impressive.
Yeah, not bad at all. And there's a little bit of this quad left to go. Don't think Mesita's going to get another frag on it at the moment, but able to get at least a quarter of the round on the way and hold off for that first power up. This is a very good start for Team ZR. We have to remember they did defeat TKG quite convincingly in the winners finals earlier on, so you know they're going to be very happy about this matchup. And it's looking like that's paying off for them so far.
The running theme of today's has been one team is just significantly better at just getting those frags as a group. It's resulted in a lot of dominant wins, and it's sort of running theme here. It's sort of continuing. Team ZR, especially on the defense, it's pretty much been in their favor all the time, and as you can clearly see here, Tuto is going to make that no different. Sita denying heavy, which is super important actually, taking that heavy armor away, because TKG will be spawning significantly closer to that, and if they're not even able to pick that up as they advance, then they haven't got that vital resource to make this push what it needs to be.
Soul goes back towards them again. They managed to contest it for just a brief moment, but it was not enough. They still have it climbing up 60% and rising.
This will very easily be 70 at this rate. I think Tuto tries to make a small detour towards Mega, but runs face first into Pokelink, who was lying in wait. Oh, but there we go. Guitar Ration with another Gauntlet kill. This is looking good. They're going to be able to take the Soul away, but can they get it through? No, he dies straight away. Tuto comes flying in with a Gauntlet. Dies in the end anyway. Now Legend holding on to it. Now can he safely get through? The power-up going to be up soon, so if Legend goes to drop this off, they are going to be a man down when contesting the power-up. And that's a situation where you do not want to waste any time. Actually, the issue that we just saw Legend have there was he kind of caught the terrain a couple of times, which kind of ruined his momentum off those bunny hops. It kind of meant that he was able to get caught at the last possible second, and he lost the soul for it. You know, at this level of play, small little execution errors like that, they just can't be made, because now they've got protection and they've got the soul percentage.
Problem is, it's also protection on Scalebearer, who's already hard enough to take down as it is, especially now he has that 100 armor, but now even more so. Very tanky. At least he only has a super shotgun and a machine gun, so not the best arsenal to defend, but they're starting to pour in, but little by little, the damage is chipping up, and Legend drops down. Thanks to a nice little sequence of machine gun from Mag. It's a big win. That's a big win for Mag. In fact, that frag also secured him a rocket launcher. And if he can survive long enough, no, can't. Wasn't really going to be able to actually put much use for that. Oh, interesting exchange on the obelisk itself. Looks like Soul was taken away. Tuso managing to get a frag, stopping him dead in his tracks, but he is himself quite weak, and actually Pokelink spawning very close to him. ETJ goes in with a berserk, but there we go, takes the soul away anyway, drops it off, and this might be the first round on the board. They have to pile in, they have to put all their resources, but a lovely direct ETJ. Looking very, very dangerous. I mean, some of his, like, how aggressive ETJ tends to be. I kind of feel like that went against him somewhat yesterday during the duels, but I think in Sacrifice, when there's more targets to shoot and you're less vulnerable, I think that's going to almost fit him like a glove. Now, that playstyle works a lot better in Sacrifice than it does in Duel, that's for sure. It kind of couldn't be working better for him, really, at the moment, especially in that first round. You know, the Doomslayer, he was kind of an up-and-coming pick last week alone, but now the buffs that Berserk make him punch a little bit better when used aggressively, I think has really helped him have that position in Sacrifice. And ETJ, we know, have been using him in duels, so clearly a big believer in Doomslayer as a champion. And you know, what better way to prove the viability, right, than succeeding in a tournament game with Doomslayer?
I think catching Legend off guard there was actually quite a good call. I know ETJ is going to go down that exchange, but right there, when he knows Sorlag is likely to spit the acid on the soul location, if you catch her off guard when you know she kind of has to use the acid spit bang on 20 seconds, and she's not looking at you. But before I can even finish talking about that, Guitaration with the drop off.
Guitaration was looking like he very much wanted to put it on B and then changed his mind again.
Here he goes!
Oh my lord, this absolute circuit Guitaration going top speed around and just getting frag after frag with super shotgun quad damage. That is that next level Quake satisfaction.
I mean, he pretty much single-handedly just did all that stuff right there. Where he dropped off the soul, just swooped in, stole the quad. He's going to get 2 kills here. No Mega in sight, so Mag cannot physically survive that whatsoever. And now, look, they've got the complete positioning advantage. There is nowhere around this obelisk they don't have control of. This is the super shotgun, but that's only going to be 1 miss. Doesn't matter too much. That was a fantastic spree.
It was. It's now given them a strong 30% lead and the first power-up off the board. This is exactly what happened to them last time, but now TKG, not only have they managed to get it, but they did get the obelisk they wanted. We got the Mega this match, she helping win this 1v1, and the injection. Guitaration going through almost 3 life bars there, and unfortunately will still go down. Mag with that bull rush, getting a lot of work. Oh no! Can't quite drop it off. So that's an important 1v1 from Mesita to get. Going through that plasma trail, going to be dropped off again. Now, Team ZR need to hold on to this as long as they can. They need to even out this percentage on what, you know, has been told to be the easier obelisk to defend.
But I feel like the longer that's going on, I mean, we're seeing that not be the case, at the very least in this tournament. So, I mean, the obelisk A has been defended to just great effect so far.
Oh no, and here comes TKG. They're starting to have the numbers on the point. This is exactly what they need, but it looks like ZR slowly but surely beginning to pour in themselves. They only have 2 people around ready to defend. They're actually completely outnumbered. There's the charge coming through, but he's going to survive. Mag is going to drop down. I'm not quite sure where Team ZR were there. Like, they definitely weren't defending as a 4.
I think maybe they could have anticipated, because they were at this location very quickly. It's possible that they may have expected the soul to be taken, so they focused a lot more into just simply heading them off and taking the fight there instead. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out. He gave them a lot of time to not only drop the soul off, but now they will be taking this fight towards the power-up, which they will secure easily. Legend with that Sorlag protection. I mean, this champion with protection is one of the biggest headaches in this game by far, and now he's had to split his focus 2 enemies at once. I mean, do you get the protection Sorlag, or do you get the stacked Anarchy? It's a hard decision, and you're likely to die.
Well, plenty of the protection left to go, so it's going to be a decision they'll have to make for a little while longer. It's TKG going up on 60%, rising. This is a really strong lead for them now after what was quite a one-sided round before.
He tried to go for that preemptive spit. I think he knew that if he sees him around the corner, he's probably going to die anyway. So he may as well try to get a bit of damage.
Sarek's going to fly in. managing to try and defend. Is going to be able to do it successfully as TKG holding onto the soul again. Now looking at 80%, it's probably going to be a clean round for TKG to take. And again, it all comes off that start, right? Either team that has got that strong first capture, first power-up, has ended up winning the round both times, unless TKG just somehow drop this now. They've taken a ton.
They took a ton of frags. 3 in a row, make that 4 in a row. And they are going to lose mag because of the Plasma Trail going off, but I think it was good for them to be able to sort of create that push. Using the Berserk to try and slip past. 9 health. Can he get through? No, he can't. Too many heads lying in wait. But ZR still have the soul, but only temporarily. Is it enough?
Looks at the dying one at a time, tries to throw it back, but Mag is going to catch it mid-air and then respond in kind with an immediate shotgun blast to the face. Oh, and lands with a gauntlet. That was a really well played.
I also think that might have done extra damage because Scale Bearer was in motion there, and he would have got the passive. Jumps on his head, get the initial damage, and then the gauntlet to boot.
Now, the thing is, this was looking like a guaranteed round for TKG, but they are starting to lose people one at a time as they try and go in here. And it looks like Team ZR are here together as a team trying to defend. But the problem is that power up is going to be up in about 10 seconds time. And Team ZR, they have to defend. They can't afford to lose the soul anymore. But TKG have a little bit of freedom if they want. Missing the gauntlet. Tries to get the speed increase with the Plasma Trail.
Fumbled
it, unfortunately. Oh,
definitely fumbled that a little bit. Now, the danger here is that Guitaration, who has been a star fragger, because this is one of our players in South America that has qualified for the duel. Look at how many members have their soul already, and you can see Team ZR, they have to pile in towards the obelisk instead, but there's actually no one around. He does get a double berserk. Can he finish it off? Gets an extra frag. And now Tuto may be able to use this quad damage to seal the deal. With 3% left, he can't afford to die right now, but there is no one lying in wait. That was a crucial spree.
He is dead, though. Who was able to pick up the quad damage on the way. They're trying one by one to try and get it, but Guitaration comes flying in with the gauntlet. Gets taken out, tries to inject to keep himself topped up, but doesn't get it in time. Pokelink is, in fact, there to pick up the pieces, however, with this soul. But a gauntlet tries to get through, and Tuto stops him dead in his tracks, but Cyrax is ready to salvage it again. But he also dies as Mag is just grinding everyone to pieces with the gauntlet.
That tunnel is Gauntlet Alley. If there is one map and one game mode anywhere in this game where you will see gauntlet after gauntlet, it is that point right there. It is never ending, but here comes the Berserk. Unfortunately, misses the punch. Not quite able to get that one.
Two of them going down, though, trying to contest this point, trying to get hold of it again, but his team is coming in, but all 4 members of TKG here ready and waiting, and they are going to be able to get some defensive frags, as now they hold onto the soul. It is, in fact, Legend. And this Solag trying to get it through, has the option to reset it here if he needs to, but might not need to. He is massively outnumbered. Don't think it's going to get away. Tries to pass it through. ETJ picks it up. Trying to get through. Yes, the double. Both of them go down. Team ZR very much not content on losing this round as it is.
I think that was a good call, knowing that not only was he likely to go that way, but the heavy would have been so useful for the Legend right there. And they just sort of met him in the middle. And look at the comeback.
I mean, this is a strong comeback. I thought for sure TKG had this in the bag, which they might still do, but right now they are losing a lot of people at crucial times.
I think what they're doing a great job of is piling in, like, all members at once. So make sure there's so many of them on this point that when the fight takes place, they have at the very least the numbers advantage. So they'll win the fight. You know, if they win the fight, then that's a great start for them. They're getting more frags. You can see it on the kill feed, racking up Guitaration with a clean double. And then we can see another one coming through for Cyrax. They have protection as well. Guitaration may have sealed the deal in this round. Depends on how much longer he's going to have this protection for. Trying to make passage back, the rest of his team to follow up. This is likely to be the round. 1 more % will do it.
No, they stole it away immediately. Team ZR, they have the numbers here. Tuto's trying to get away. He doubles back, he goes straight back into the fire. I just don't think he expected there to be anyone there.
He was in a dangerous situation. I think that's likely to be the round. They're piling in one at a time, but they're not able to get there in time. But I feel Tuto kind of doubled back, maybe expected to juke somewhat, but there was a lot of people waiting, and there was also Guitaration with protection in that exact scenario. I feel like he had to make a split decision at that moment, and that was not the right call.
Definitely didn't seem to be, but that was quite a long round there, going up on the 7-minute mark, and both players, both teams looking to get this one back as we are dead even. But again, it came down to that big start, so I think really getting hold of that first soul is going to be so important for both of them here, considering they both seem to favor the same obelisk.
Now, TKD lost a lot of people in that exchange. Tuto goes down, so Pokelink is a little bit healthy. The timing, it means he's like to try and use his charge. Can it finish off? No, bumps into the wrong target. That is very unfortunate. Tried to bull rush the soul carrier, but hit the wrong target. Did minimal damage and was just stuck in his tracks.
All right, this time, though, it looks like Team ZR deciding to choose Obelisk B. So for the first time, these teams actually going for what is usually seen to be the more commonly favored obelisk to defend. Team ZR now, we can see him up there ready and waiting with that power up, trying to get it. It is quad damage. Oh, a Pokelink manages to secure it. Guitaration will actually be able to pick it up after his teammate dies, but now this is bad for ZR as they're now going to be trying to defend against one of the players that qualified for South America in duel, and now he has quad damage. They're getting frags even without him being on the scene, and he'll easily pick this one up. He's going to get focused. Unfortunately, that one missed shotgun blast. Guitaration with 44 HP. Actually, in a situation where he probably doesn't want to. I feel that was actually a tactical suicide just to eliminate the enemies from play. Well, he was able to take out 3 of them, maybe kind of just hoping a teammate was going to be there to pick it up, but unfortunately there was no one there ready. But they are here to stop him from capturing, and they will do just that. It's ETJ. Maybe thought he was holding onto the sword at the time, but it isn't going to matter. Getting a lot of frags before he dies, but ultimately, Pokelink with that charge coming in. I think charged a little bit too far right there, and kind of going into every single enemy. Very unfortunate situation, but have to recover from that. Soul been stolen away, but can they get it? That's been the problem with them so far, trying to go for that injection, but won't survive in time. Cyrex is here ready to defend, with the Mega too. So very, very nice and healthy. Oh dear. That'll be swiftly undone if you're taking that double. I mean, he's going to take one with him. He's going to have no other choice but to take the 1-1 trade. That's the best he's going to get in that situation. That was contested. There was no one here to defend. That's going to be gone. So is Mag running through. Doesn't have a bull rush for a little while. Gonna have one soon, but he gets knocked into the belly of the beast thanks to that LG. And that's a lovely sequence of frags for TKG as they take a bunch of kills and now trying to go back to the defense as they will capture it again. Okay, so they're going to even things out here. They've got a substantial amount of time to defend before the power-ups. That's obviously the big game changer. But they're looking quite good so far. If they can just hold it until power-up, you know, it's going to be a good lead until the power-up spawns, which is about 20-25% or so. Just missing the rail and just switching to the gauntlet. Why not? That's the old-fashioned, you know. I mean, I don't kind of need it, but managing to get that nice rail on ETJ before he drops down, so at least trading out the frag. And another power-up is controlled by TKG. ZR, they just haven't been able to really hold on to the power-ups the same way they were earlier on. But if you are TKG, this is exactly what you need. I mean, they're getting a good series, and the second Guitaration in particular gets a power-up. He really does make magic happen with it. I feel like he's truly like maximizing the time. Even after taking that charge, he still has so much health left. He can walk in as much as he wants. Pokelink is just not letting him get away, using that bull rush to chase down immediately, getting that damage out. And this is a very strong round for TKG. It's hard to believe that TKG are the ones coming into this from the loser's side, considering how they're playing. Because it was a dominant loss. It was a very, very dominant loss for TKG. So, and the first round was dominant as well. So you can almost wonder, like, are we going to sort of see history repeat itself in effect? But it's not looking like that so far. I mean, we can't count out Team ZR. Oh, they did almost make a full comeback last time. But dropping down the soul, passing it on to ETJ, who is 90 health here, running through that berserk. Oof! And that's a double kill on the plasma trail. It looks like Team ZR getting a little bit too impatient there as they both run through it and die straight away. But oof! No. Starvation with an unfortunate suicide. Yeah, that's one of the worst times to accidentally frag yourself, but he wasn't punished too heavily. There was plenty of teammates there to clear up, so that percentage lead is continuing to climb. I don't think we're going to get another power-up, especially if they don't seize this point and delay the percentage. But this is a lead, though. This is almost 90% for TKG, and time after time, Team ZR are trying to stop, but they just aren't able to get much going on, and even though they won that, Misito is quite low, but they were able to get the best of the point. We can heal up here. Going to contest, steal it away. Tuto going back to, well, it's pretty much where he tried to go in the last map, isn't it? But there's no one lying in wait just yet. I think they're either going to be partying towards power-up or they're going to be waiting towards the obelisk. I think it's likely they're actually going to take the fight for power-up instead. Looks like Tuto opted for the longest route possible just to make sure there was the least resistance, I think. But as you said, they're really fighting for this power-up. But Team ZR, they can't afford to lose this, but they might be able to. No, Tuto is able to fly in and take the quad damage, but he is very weak. Has to be super careful not to die here because he will give it away, but there's the injection to get back up to full health. Now, this sequence of power-up light, sort of the uptime, if he can get a nice amount of frags with this quad damage, will do well for holding on to it. You can see him being careful here. The odds are currently in their favor. I like how Tuto, he's really not making himself known. He was sort of positioning himself in a way that if they were near the point, the only way they're going to see him is when he's already trickling that LG damage down, and it's too late at that stage when he's got quad damage. Promise quad is about to run out. It has now just left.
So TKG haven't got to be too careful. Oh no, getting hit mid-air, but there we go, he's gonna die. But ETJ is there ready to try and defend by himself, and they have stolen the soul away, but he's gonna die for it. Immediately put back down again, and Team ZR looking to still take this round, and there we go. Cyrex runs straight into a couple of rockets. But Legend tried to pile in to help the rest of his team. He might have been a little bit more confident because he just picked up that Mega, and Sorlag with that Mega is so tanky, but because everyone else had fallen down, he was only really going to walk into essentially just 4 people's worth of damage at one time.
Uh-oh, there might be a costly missed jump there, trying to go for that heavy armor. Now it's going to take him a lot longer to try and get back again, but it looks like his team's still holding on to the point. ETJ getting another frag.
I mean, look at the percentage. It's 76% versus 95. This could be a comeback. I mean, they're on the verge. They're looking good so far. PokerLink is likely to win this 1v1. No! Doesn't quite get it. I was willing to think maybe the difference there would have been quite significant, but he's going to go down, waste some more time, and they're evening out.
They're on 85%, and there is 30 seconds away from the next power-up respawning. If they don't contest this soul, they actually won't get the chance at another power-up. They're all dying, but that's a nice couple of frags coming through on the point, but can they get anything more? They're going to trade that one. They're still holding on to it, and there we go. Mag is holding on, but he dies too. Legend is there to contest, but are they there? They have contested the soul at least, but can they get out alive? He's struggling to get past, and Tuto comes flying in with the gauntlet. Getting another kill, but there we go. It's going to work out. PokerLink's trying to run through with this speed.
Oh, he can't quite get through! And he gets 2 more rocket frags to boot. That might be the most crucial frag in this entire tournament. Can Tuto get out alive? Jukes one, but Legend lies in wait. He himself is very weak, and the power-up, as you can see, has spawned. It's going to go in the hand of Team ZR. Mag may have just saved his team with this power-up.
Problem is he's very weak, but he's going to swap to the Super Shotgun and take out Guitaration. 1% left to go. They are here. Team ZR need to get here immediately to defend. They are losing points. Or losing bodies on the obelisk, I should say, as one by one they are actually starting to go down. The soul gets taken away. This is a bad look for ZR. They got so close.
They're chasing down Guitaration. Can Guitaration survive in time? Has he been able to drop? He's got the drop off, but they are somewhat down in percentage. They get 2 frags. Is that going to be enough?
They are contesting, but I'm not sure they are getting the better of it. There's a plasma trail stopping them right in the way as Tuto is going to drop. Do they have enough people here? They have 1%, and that's going to be it. TKG managing to win a 99 to 100% trade, and that was almost 2 comebacks from ZR, but 2 times they ever so slightly just fell short of it.
That's a bit of a strange situation to be in, actually, for both teams, because if your team ZR, making that comeback would have done a bunch of knock-on effects, right? So you've been able to pump yourself up as a team, and you're going to be riding all of that momentum into the next map. And seeing as you're on the winner's side, one more map could potentially win you this tournament and directly send you to Dreamhack Winter. So that's a fantastic result. If you would have lost that, it would have sent a massive mental shock straight into every member of that team, because you fought so hard and you fought so long. 2 comebacks potentially would have been made, and those comebacks would have essentially gone right. So they've made this comeback, and now their match point up or map point up, and now we have loads of work to do to just reset the bracket. But on the flip side of that, I feel like if one team can afford losing a long map, it's probably going to be ZR, because they have a lot more maps to work with. If you're TKG, you don't have that same comfort zone. They needed to clutch that out, and I think it's very good for them that they were able to do that.
But that does mean we're going on to Ruins of Sarnath as the next one, and I believe, if I'm not miscorrect, I'm fairly sure I wrote it down. The first map was Jeremy versus ZR. Yeah, it was in fact Ruins versus when these guys fought in winners finals. It was ZR versus TKG. ZR were actually able to take Ruins in that time, and that was actually quite a dominant first map as well for them. So if ZR can basically repeat and do what they've already done and win on Ruins again, that would be okay for them. I think it'd be a nice way to get a map back on the board. But whether or not this was their choice, I'm not too sure.
All things aside, it will be a good start for them if they're in a situation where they can sort of repeat history and do what they've done before, which is get a good win on Ruins of Sarnath. But going into this, actually, it's taking a little bit of an extra time to go into this map. We'll find out what the delay is. Some players may need to actually restart, which is like, yeah, I actually believe PokerLink may have had to go for a restart again, so we'll wait a couple of seconds for him to rejoin. But as you can see, it's worth the wait. PokerLink was a big part of that. And as we expected on Tempest Shrine, Scalebearer made quite a big... Scalebearer and Anarchy combined made a big difference there, I think, when you put them together.
We're seeing a lot of gauntlets, and I think the champion choice is kind of...
the reason for that, I think, considering Anarchy already has the speed to just get in your face and do as much damage as possible, but when you've got something like the protection, if you're Scale Bearer, who you can go Gauntlet into Bull Rush for like a very quick up closest combo with the two, with the weapon and the ability together, it gives you a lot of options. When you've just got the sheer amount of health and armor that Scale Bearer brings to the table, I think it does let you sort of go in for that aggressive style. Okay, so PokerLink has joined the lobby, so we are just about to go into this next map. I believe it's going to be mere seconds away, and we're going to be good to go. But it's been, to be honest, after a map like that, this is potentially a high chance of us having a bracket reset. We didn't have a bracket reset last week. It looked almost like too much of a difficult feat for some of these teams, I think particularly with Stacked. But playing field looking a little bit more even, where TKG had such a hard time in winners finals, but they were able to very, impressively stay in the fight and get that first map. If they win this, they're going to reset the bracket, and we have another 2 out of 3 on our hands. I think it's kind of impossible to call after a map like that, because it was last round 99 to 100, and it was the kind of the classic contesting overtime at the end. So I think after that, it very much is anyone's game. I think going into this next map though, because it was so close, like you said, I think ZR have the maps to lose because they're going in winner's side, and TKG obviously desperately needed that a lot more to get that closer, that one step closer, as it were, to the bracket reset. But considering when they fought on Ruins in winners finals, ZR won so dominantly, I think this is their best chance to kind of put another map on the board in retaliation to bring it to a 1-1. It would also do great things for the morale, seeing as Sarnath was a map they lost so dominantly in winners finals. If they're able to reset the bracket by winning, it could be dominantly, it could just be winning in general, it could be 2 really close situations like we saw in Tempest Shrine. If they can win on this map too, I think that's going to pretty much completely not only reset the bracket as such, it's going to reset their mentality going into fighting off against Team ZR, because this was a map they lost so dominantly on. If they can win this map, it's like, right, we've pretty much just undone everything that happened in the winners finals, and now we're going to start afresh and keep our newly built momentum into the next 2 out of 3. But it's also been a nice evenly spread amount of damage, though, through all the players. I think right now it's a good, especially on the side of ZR, all 4 of them are kind of really, pulling their weight. I think Cyrax has been one of the stronger defenders at the moment, coming out of TKG. I think that's fair to say. Cyrax has been having a really good game so far for that. But ZR, especially, I think ETJ has been a really good one to watch so far. This Doomslayer has been doing a lot of work from start to finish. And now we're 10 seconds into the warm-up being over. We're going to find out very soon whether we're going to have a bracket reset or a 3rd map in the first series. Will we remain in the 2 out of 3? That's going to be the ultimate question for now. We're going to be moments away from finding out the answer to that. 5 seconds down, so with this sort of 15-second period, the early frags making a difference, but once you reach that 10-second mark, which we have done, this is where you don't want to go down. You want to be making sure you're making a difference during that soul spawn fight. That 20-second mark, that crucial make or break time to fight. It looks like so far ZR have the soul, but 2 of them just died for it, and Cyrax is able to run through, and he's going to be able to capture on 3 health remaining. And TKG starting off choosing the obelisk they want. That is the perfect start for them. And Cyrax on 3 health, managing to just fight off an entire team by himself. You mentioned how Cyrax has been like a real star defender, and I think he's been sort of following that one through. He does go down right before the power-up spawns, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Guitar Ration has the quad damage, but seeing as he's Anarchy with 40 HP, he's only going to survive for so long. Tuto has the quad damage now. He's trying to really push in there with the rest of his team. It's likely they're going to take the soul. I do wonder if they can get out alive. Well, Masita getting one of those plasma trial explosion kills is not a terrible way of doing it. This mega health is going to be up in just a few seconds' time. Yeah, you can see how many heads are there, but they're not really going to do a huge amount while Tuto continues to have the quad damage. But I actually love the speed. I loved the speed of which they were able to get in and get out before Tuto even was on the scene. Yeah, it was just that perfect display of Anarchy movement and why he can be so important. Even though, like, TKG, they got so close to losing up a few percentage to ZR, that one sequence of Anarchy movement was beautiful. Literally taking it from one obelisk to another in just a matter of seconds. Guitar Ration is just destroying right now. I mean, that is 4 straight gauntlets in a row before they even turned around and looked at him. That's the strength of Anarchy with the gauntlet and sacrifice. You're going to be point blank so often. They're very rarely going to be looking at you, so I mean, why not? You can see him waiting here with the gauntlet, trying to catch him on arrival, going in. So much gauntlet damage into Lightning Gun as well. This is huge for Guitar Ration, just making sure that people are as weak as possible. He's probably going to die here, but try to do as much damage as possible before inevitably falling. Team ZR, they've been able to sort of put all hands on deck, but They remain, and lovely acid spit by Legend, actually. I think particularly useful because he was up on that jump pad, had a nice amount of elevation there, getting a good angle on where those acid spits will go down. Tuto's trying to survive with the gauntlet, both got the same idea. Tuto actually remaining alive, and because they ignored him, he punished them for that mistake.
Right, this is looking good for ZR, even though they are massively down on percentage, trying to at least throw the soul away. But still, they weren't able to actually follow it up, and Mag has it at least now, but he also likely to die here. Yeah, trying to run through with his Berserk, but there you go, drops it off. Even though he might die, yes he will. Unfortunately, he just gets 1v1'd by the Gauntlet, which is what we see happen quite a lot to Doomslayer. I think taking both Mega and the potential protection, which Mesita has been able to do. Making herself pretty much as tanky as she can possibly be, with the exception of the armor. Oh, but here we go. There's that damage paying off now. Trying to throw the soul up to make it as hard as possible for him to get back. And even though they're holding onto the soul now, protection's still very much up, so they might be able to at least drop it off for the first time. But the question is, how long can they hold it? The entire team is going to die. Protection going to run out any second now as well. And Mag using his bull rush just to secure it.
That's a good combination. But Kataration with a double gauntlet. I mean, he says, I don't care about your rails. I'm just going to fly in there and cut you up.
We are seeing a lot more Gauntlet kills than we're used to seeing in Sacrifice. It's almost like the players are just prioritizing the raw damage of the Gauntlet with the speed in which they can so closely get point blank. It's actually working out for Kataration specifically. He's getting so much damage out of it.
Well, if you miss a rail, if you miss a shot, if it's single shot, that Gauntlet will kill you for free, basically. PokerLink very weak. I mean, does what he can, but up there, I think all he's really going to do is get a couple of rails before inevitably going down. But here comes ER. They've got the defense once more. Now, I don't want to use the word choke, because it definitely wasn't a choke, but they weren't able to quite clutch the comeback they were trying to make on Tempest Shrine. So now they're put in the same situation.
I think the heartbreaking thing, though, is they dropped that close twice in a row. Like, both rounds came down to basically 99-100, but the fact that they weren't able to close it out multiple times, I think that's probably the biggest hit for confidence you can get. So far, holding on to the Obelisk for now.
Well, this is what we saw when their dominant win came through in the winners' finals. Their defense was impeccable, and they kept TKG on the behind pretty much the entire time. You know, a level of comfort to the point where ZR, they were patrolling those weapons too. You know, they were patrolling the LG in particular when they controlled Obelisk B. They would consistently sort of sit by that jump pad and deny the very important weapons that TKG would need to make a comeback, and they didn't even let them have that. They were that much in control.
The Soul was able to sneak away during that, but very swiftly put back on where it belongs again. ETJ now with that quad damage. He has been one of those star fraggers on the team, so not a bad choice to let him have it for sure. Oh, he's going to survive a bull rush, which is a little bit too early for it to do maximum damage, so ETJ going to brush that one off, but still relatively low. Here comes Legend, but ETJ didn't quite look towards his left. Does he get the double? No! Legend has a little bit too much health. Actually, quite a significant amount, in fact. 60 versus 35. That's a nice amount to survive on when you've just picked up quad, but one more of those will take him out. Followed through. Tuto, a brave rail, in fact. If that missed, he was dead guaranteed. Very confident decision. Good execution. PokerLink has the quad damage just worn off, but still very close to dropping off himself. But three members of ZR just come flying in. One with a gauntlet being kept at arm's length. Tuto doesn't quite get the most out of it this time, and all of them get immediately taken down. Oh, be it unintentional or intentional, that combo kill was fantastic. Knock him up in the air with the rocket launcher. PokerLink finishes it off with a nice charged up bull rush. That was nice and stylish right there. Although that one sequence of defense was able to maybe even things out for ZR. If ZR can take the soul away now and do it again, they'd be better off. But the thing is, they kind of required the power up to do it last time. And swiftly, both of them getting taken down. I think being a little bit too predictable with the teleporters. And just like that, I feel like TKG have done a fantastic job of just taking this momentum and bringing it back into their favor, reversing it, and the control returns. If he's going to go down, he may as well try and get the Mega. Nice timing for PokerLink. Doesn't manage to take anyone down with him, but the important thing is keeping ZR consistently behind. If none of them have Mega, it's going to be so difficult for them to push this point. They did get a fantastic group fight. PokerLink is a little bit by himself. Did get one frag. Can he get a couple? Hasn't been able to take out every head on that point with the LG. That was ridiculous. And it has given his team almost the round back handed to them on a silver plate. PokerLink, that damage on the lightning gun being so powerful. The Berserk mode is popped, but might not be able to do a lot by itself. But there we go, out of nowhere. Mester comes flying in with a lightning gun, able to take out all of them. The protection now has spawned. Who's going to get it, though? That's the question. Mester has it, and after how powerful he's been, that is dangerous, as he has the soul as well. Now, this is going to be crucial. ZR, they can, for another time, a third time in a row, they cannot afford to let TKG get it at any point. So now they're 99%, means that if they get it ever, it's going to be that 1% will tick down, and they'll lose the round.
This is one of those now or never scenarios. Mesita can still survive. She can just laugh in the face of all of it with that protection on board.
There's likely to be the last protection of the round, though, considering how close both teams are, unless we really go down to a 99 contested situation.
I mean, unless they trade back and forth, I would say definitely. I do not think we're going to get one more protection or, I guess, power up. Will we even have remotely a chance of it? They have the soul, 1% more. Cyrax, no one's here to challenge him just yet. This could be it.
There is one person, but there we go. That mid-air shot might have bought enough time to get around. Literally, that one mid-air rail bought enough time to stop the contesting at the end. That was perfectly done. And now, reset point for TKG. If they win this round, they will reset the bracket, and we'll be going back to 0-0 to find out who will then be our final winners today.
I mean, if they reset the bracket, it's going to be very, very hard to pull that momentum away from them. I think, you know, in that situation where it's like, right, guys, we've reset the bracket, undone all the damage. Just to remind everyone again, this map was ridiculously dominant for Team ZR when they fought in the winners finals. If they're essentially able to undo the damage right now, they're going into that bracket reset with more than a clean slate. They're going into it with all of that momentum, and I mean, they would be my tournament favorite if they reset in this fashion for sure.
Cyrax flew in, though, there with that plasma trail, but it looks like Team ZR might be able to actually get it. Yes, they can. ETJ pops Berserk just to make sure. It's a swift punch, but not enough to get a frag, unfortunately.
TKG, the important thing is they've been able to take the soul with minimal percentage. You know, we've seen time and time again how important it can be if you can drop the soul off first. With so much time, you can fight for power up. However, it took such a long time for them. Tuto has been able to get quad damage, and because he got the Mega, he was more than healthy to take every single one of those heads at the same time. And he gets a clean little double.
But still, that quad damage can be doing a lot of work now as well. As he jumps down. Oh, a bit of damage, but still himself.
I mean, just the knowledge that he's up there with the quad was enough to sort of keep Cyrax from not going up that jump pad, you know. Denying that entire area just because Tuto was near there was quite impactful. So that quad damage, and he's just continuing to rack it up.
Cyrax actually respawns into death there. I'm not exactly where he needed to be. It's going to be a nice sequence. Tuto getting so many frags here. Oh! Until Guitaration comes flying in with that gauntlet for another time.
He had a thing or two to say about that one, I think. I actually think the rail might have missed too. If you got that rail, Guitaration might have gone down. Kind of, it fails me what the health was, but if it's Anarchy, you always have to assume that he's going to be one rail away from death on this map because he's consistently not at max health on sacrifice.
Here we go, Guitaration tried for another gauntlet kill, but this time it's not going to work. Injection is popped again, so this 1v1 could be a little bit easier, but no. Pokelink will still manage to win that one as he's now contesting. Oh, committed suicide. Not quite sure what happened there.
Now the push comes out. 3 of them. Acceleration with that detour towards heavy armor. Very important to sort of survive this. You're going to know that ZR will be closing in that space. ETJ was not ready. I actually love the fact Guitaration didn't even bother ETJ. He didn't want to let him know that he was near there. It's way better to run past him with a rocket jump, and then by then it's too late for him to react. I think that was a good judgment call.
No, and it worked out. You know, they're holding on to this so far, almost 10% on this obelisk. This is exactly what they needed, and it's decisions like that, right? You know, willing to sacrifice a little bit of self-damage to not use the jump pad, and also purposely not alerting the enemy team to his presence, and now that's letting him mount this defense. As his team is finally getting a bunch of percentage on the board, and they just need to win this round, and that's over. You know, we're going to go to a reset, and they'll start again. Taration's flying back in towards this power-up. This is where the fight's going to take place. Plenty of heads on there. Mag gets the protection, but to be honest, he's on borrowed time with that much health. He's going to try and tactical suicide to allow the rest of his team to collect. Mesita has it, and with that much health, it's likely that the push is going to come through. But they do defend quite significantly. How many guns at one time will Mesita be taking? Here we go. Taration flies in with the gauntlet, but that's not going to do enough damage anywhere near to take him down when he was fully stacked. Now he has the soul.
I think in situations...
Pokelink is not going to let him get away for free, but still the protection reigns supreme.
What we just saw there was why protection is by far the most sought-after power-up in this game, I think, when it comes to sacrifice. Because if you've got the quad damage, they would have gone down and they run the risk of it trading back and forth. Because Mesita had so much health, I mean, pretty much bang on the 100 health. Even with no armor, that was enough for Mesita to just run into the point, frag everyone in his path, and just drop it off from start to finish.
Speaking of which, though, Guitaration just gets taken down immediately by a swift rail, but Legend getting a nice double kill with a rocket launcher, it seems, but that's a full team wipe. That's going to be a free pickup of the soul, but ZR will respawn in time to at least stop them from dropping off at least, but Mesita is there just to catch it.
Like that awareness, not really able to survive long enough, though. I mean, we can't really ignore the health and armor. Even if you get a good play and you get a good read, pick up that soul. You're weak. You're weak.
Pokelink having it though. We can see all of ZR here trying to stop the right-hand side, but none of them looking at where Pokelink is. And that's going to let him get away, put the soul down.
I actually like that priority too, where he saw Mesita first. He noticed that Doomslayer was glowing because of the Berserk. He's like, well, if he's over there, he's not really going to be able to do anything. So prioritized the target that had the range. On the spot. Again, on the spot decision making, as we've been talking about consistently. And right there was another good example of that.
TKG looking really good now. To even things up somewhat. It looks like still a big lead for ZR, but we're talking about the defense. This is what's winning TKG the game currently. But the power-up going to be up in a few seconds' time. See no one caring about the soul right now. The power-up is definitely the important thing. And Guitar Raching gets it, and it's quad. This is not a good look for ZR. They desperately needed to win this round, and with Guitar Raching on quad, it's going to be a lot harder.
Unless
he
drops the kill! He missed both shotgun blasts. That has just allowed ZR to not only have the quad damage, but they've got all that momentum. Guitar Raching gets pasted, but Cyrax with the recovery. Very important that you got that frag right there. That was almost a humongous couple of misses.
Drops off, but a flying gauntlet. That's kind of scary to see an Anarchy flying at you at full speed.
When you're on 24 HP as well, definitely. I agree.
Was able to survive anyway, barely alive anyway, but it isn't going to matter. As now they're holding on to the obelisk for what could be the final time.
They've taken the lead as well. This is very important. Unfortunately, Cyrax ran out of LG ammo. That is the worst place you can run out of ammo.
They were able to contest it back, but Mag runs full speed ahead. There we go. The bull rush doing work. So now we're trying to drop it up there, getting closer. Gonna be able to drop it off. But TKG were able to take the lead during that exchange, so it's going to be a little bit harder for them to hold on to it now.
Absolutely back and forth, and we've seen this many times today.
It looked like Slash is just flipping off the soul there because it kept hitting the walls. Perhaps.
Sign of frustration in it.
Maybe.
She's had enough.
Still though, they were able to drop it off. That's the important thing. And it looks like at least 3 members of TKG sitting there to defend, as now they are 10% away from resetting the bracket in this grand finals. Oh, but there we go.
Cyrax has just been, a lot of his frags have just been on point from start to finish, and it's continuing to ramp up 5%. And at this stage, you can't lose a single frag because it wastes too much time. They have a rock-solid defense, 1 more percent. They pile in for what will be the last time. Is this going to be enough? I don't think so with this much acid ticking down. And a couple of gauntlets. Pokelink with the ball rush as well. Is that enough to give us a bracket reset? It will be indeed! 2 straight maps, and we've just had a bracket reset for TKG.
In an exact reverse turn of events as well. When these guys fought in winners bracket, it was a dominant win for ZR, like a clean 2-0, which was a surprise. You know, we were told that TKG were definitely the one of the strongest teams to look out for. Like, definitely don't sleep on these guys. You know, they know what they're doing. They'll be very powerful. And not to say that they didn't look that way, but in winners it definitely wasn't quite as the same way we had expected to see. However, in this grand finals, and especially after seeing how TKG were playing in the lower bracket, when obviously they've lost that second chance, it is very much a night and day difference for these guys. And now we're going to be going into a bracket reset, which means now Team CR have been knocked into the losers bracket by TKG. So now we're going back to 0-0, and we're going to start the sets all over again, where now it is just going to be a simple case of first to win 2 maps is going to win the tournament.
So on that note, to give the players a little bit of a break in between this bracket reset, we are going to go for a very short break while we get into the second half of this grand finals. Don't go anywhere. You definitely